You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Exodus 20:17. This commandment forbids covetousness in general, you shall not covet, and specifically your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, etc. It forbids covetousness in general. You shall not covet. It is lawful to use the world and to desire as much of it as may keep us from the temptation of poverty. Keep deception and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with the food that is my portion, that I not be full and deny you, and say, Who is the Lord? Or that I not be in want and steal, and profane the name of my God. Proverbs 30:8-9. It is good to seek those things that will enable us to honor God with works of mercy. Honor the Lord from your wealth. Proverbs 3:9. The danger is when the world gets into the heart. Water is useful for sailing a ship, but the danger is when the water gets into the ship. The danger regarding the world is when the world gets into the heart. You shall not covet. What does it mean to covet? There are two words in the Greek that set forth the nature of covetousness. Pleonexia signifies an insatiable desire of getting the world. Covetousness is a dry disease. Augustine defines covetousness as to desire more than enough. It is to desire a great estate and to be like the daughter of the leech who cries, Give, give. Proverbs 30:15. The other word is philargoria, which signifies an inordinate love of the world. The world is the idol. It is so much loved that many will not part with it for any price. One who is covetous not only gets the world unrighteously, but who loves it inordinately. For a more complete explanation of what it means to covet, I will give 6 points to help explain when a person may be said to be given to covetousness. 1. A person is given to covetousness when his thoughts are wholly taken up with the world. A godly man's thoughts are in heaven. He is thinking about Christ's love and eternal recompense. When I am awake, I am still with you. Psalm 139:18. That is, the person is still thinking about the things of God. A covetous man's thoughts are in the world. His mind is wholly taken up with it. He can think of nothing but his business or farm. Most of the thoughts in a covetous person's mind are worldly. He is always plotting and projecting about worldly things, like a young woman whose thoughts all center upon the young man whom she loves. His mind is on earthly things. Philippians 3:19. 2. A person is given to covetousness when he takes more effort to gain the world than to gain heaven. He will turn every stone, give up sleep, and take many weary steps for the world, but he will take no effort for Christ or heaven. After the Gauls, an ancient people of France, had tasted the sweet wine of the Italian grape, they inquired after the country, never resting until they had arrived there. In the same way, a covetous person, having had a taste of the world, pursues after it, never resting until he has got it, but he neglects the things of eternity. He would be content if salvation were to drop into his mouth as a ripe fig drops into the eater's mouth. Nahum 3:12. But he is unwilling to put himself to too much sweat or trouble to obtain Christ or salvation. He hunts for the world, but he only wishes for heaven. 3. A person is given to covetousness when all his conversation is about the world. He who is of the earth is from the earth and speaks of the earth. John 3:31. It is a sign of godliness to be speaking of heaven, and to have the tongue tuned to the language of Canaan. Words from the mouth of a wise man are gracious. Ecclesiastes 10:12. He speaks as if he had already been in heaven. So it is a sign of a covetous person to always speak of secular things, of his possessions and business and entertainment. A covetous man's breath, like a dying man's, smells strong of the earth. As it was said to Peter that his speech betrays him, Matthew 26:73, so a covetous person's speech betrays him. He is like the fish in the gospel that had a piece of money in its mouth, Matthew 17:27. Words are the mirror of the heart. They show what is within. The good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth what is good, and the evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth what is evil, for his mouth speaks from that which fills his heart. Luke 6:45. 4. A person is given to covetousness when he so sets his heart upon worldly things that he will part with heaven for the love of them. For the bar of gold, Joshua 7:24, he will part with the pearl of great value, Matthew 13:46. When Christ said to the young man in the Gospel, "Go and sell your possessions and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come, follow me," the young man went away grieving, Matthew 19:21-22. He would rather part with Jesus than with all his earthly possessions. Cardinal Bourbon said that he would give up his part in paradise if he could keep his cardinalship in Paris. When it comes to the critical point that people must either relinquish their possessions or Christ, and they would rather part with Christ and a good conscience than with their possessions and worldly lives, it is a clear case that they are possessed with covetousness. Demas, having loved this present world, has deserted me. 2 Timothy 4:10. 5. A person is given to covetousness when he overloads himself with worldly business. He has many irons in the fire. He is so busy with his work that he cannot find time to serve God. He hardly has time to eat his food, but he has no time to pray. When a person is overly busy with the world, and as Martha is distracted from the things of God by many other things, so that he does not have time for his soul, he is under the power of covetousness. Luke 10:40. And 6. A person is given to covetousness whose heart is so set upon the world that he does not care what unlawful means he uses to get it. He intends to have the world by fair means or foul. He will wrong and defraud and will raise his wealth upon the ruins of another. A merchant in whose hands are false balances he loves to oppress. And Ephraim said, "Surely I have become rich, I have found wealth for myself." Hosea 12:7-8.